Drake is not for the culture. He is not for the culture. He is for somewhat good vibes and cheesy tunes. What business does Beyonce have charging £800 for a ticket? You actually don't respect me if you've taken that long to respond. You actually don't respect me. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't respect you. What's up? Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, evening, whichever one it is. How's everyone doing? Did you miss me? What's up? Guys, how long's it been? 3 weeks? I was meant to be in my consistency bag this year, but you know the new saying, yeah? The new year starts in February. And I'm kind of taking that approach, not just because, and people do say that because people can be a bit lazy in January, because my thing is, obviously a lot of people do dry January, yeah, but then I didn't go out on New Year's Eve this year, actually. I was meant to, but I didn't. But then I'm like, so do you stop drinking at midnight, or does it count when you wake up? But then it kind of went out the window because I think a friend had a birthday party halfway through January, and then I think something else happened as well. So I'm telling myself the new year starts in February. My 2025 properly starts in February. But hello, everyone. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're looking after yourself, staying hydrated, mentally sane, getting your 5 a day, and yeah, all of that. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jord. And for those of you who do not know me, welcome. What's up? Thanks for joining me. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Do you know what it is, right? I kind of feel like people can be very, very dramatic when it comes to the new year. People are like, new year, new me, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But the thing is, right, I feel like people put so much pressure on themselves to do something when the new year starts that it kind of evaporates quite quickly, you know? So my thing has been, and it's been like this for quite a few years actually, I try to, inevitably, if I've done something in May, I'm not waiting till January to start. But my thing is, I like to, how do I word it? I like to start new things on my birthday. So this will come out on Tuesday if God is good. So I'm about 10 days into being 26. So by Tuesday, it'll be just under 2 weeks. So I've just turned 26 years old. And obviously it's hard to believe because it's funny really, because it's really weird. I don't think we should see being seen as our age as an insult. Where people will be like, oh, you look so good for your age, or you look so bad for your age. But no one actually ever says, oh, you look your age. Do you know, it's not a bad thing to look your age. I remember I saw this thing with Beyonce, and everyone was, oh, she looks good, so good for her age. And people were like, she just looks her age. I personally think she looks younger, but hey, what can you do? But yeah, so I've been doing a lot of reflecting, trying to figure out, what do I want out of the year? What do I want? And it's kind of made me reevaluate a lot of things. One thing being what do I want out of the year overall and generally? And then also kind of looking at it from a different approach. What do I want from my close people? And what do I want from people I want to get close to? You know? Do you know, honestly, right? And I was talking to a friend about this. I feel like we can be a bit soft when it comes to putting boundaries in place. I think a lot of people see placing boundaries or putting boundaries in place as an attack, but it's actually, if anything, it's actually a way to strengthen a relationship, to strengthen a bond. I've had it where I've been in encounters. I remember I had a friend, we're not friends anymore, and I remember this friend saying to me I need boundaries. This was I must have been, we haven't been friends for a while. I must have been about 21 or 22. And I remember being really peed off when he said that. I was like, what do you mean boundaries? Who the do you think you are? talking to me like that. You know, but then when I think about it, I kind of, even though I'm not friends with the guy anymore, I kind of wish I could go back and be like, oh, do you know what? I actually hear it. And I think there's such a healthy mechanism because if boundaries aren't put in place, you just, what do you just, I think you just clash, and you don't, and like, you can't really, and then it'll be like all these like angers and frustrations built up, and I'll be like, oh, why didn't you say it? Because people get really easily offended. But yeah, this year, turning 26 is very much about focusing on like what I want out of my life, what I want my friends to be like, and maybe even be open up to dating. I have such a difficult relationship with dating, because I think it's weird. The older I get, the more closed off I am. I think when I like, and not even like in a romantic sense, just generally, like I don't really tell my friends that anything's wrong unless I'm literally on the verge of cracking. The last few weeks have been somewhat difficult, and I've like told friends what's going on, and I think a lot of them were. I don't know if they were in shock. See, I don't. My friends don't talk to me like that, so I don't know if I hide it well. I don't know if they were in shock or they were just like, "Oh, fair enough, he's finally telling us." But like, I don't think my friends expected me to tell them what I told them when I said things are a bit difficult. However, I'm grateful to have amazing people in my circle, so that is not what we're going to be talking about today. But yeah, I want to be open up to dating. I really do. I feel like I've had such a closed mindset for such a long time because I feel like a lot of men are so avoidant of intimacy and intellectualness and conversation that I just do you know what it is, right? Honestly, as like a young gay person, you kind of feel like you have to be sexual and you have to be promiscuous sometimes because that's the only way that you can get affection. That's the only way that you can build a bond because annoyingly so, like, realistically, most I'm not even going to say gay men or queer men, but most men under the age of 30, they just want to bang bang. They just want to, especially for queer men who have obviously not been able to establish and navigate their identity as quickly as a straight man would. Well, for my friends anyway, for my people. But with that being said, I need to appreciate and recognize that not every man is the same. Yes, there's a lot of men that just want to hit it. Yes, there's a lot of men that just want to meet you and want you for the night. But there are also a lot of men that don't want that. There are a lot of men that want the long-term connection and intimacy. I just haven't found them. But I'm trying to take a different approach because I said to myself, I was like, do you know what? Right, stay, because I don't really like. I'm a real like homebody. I love being in my house. I love being in my own company. But I have to remind myself that like my husband is not going. I mean, I don't want to get married, but my significant other isn't going to rock up at my doorstep. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had some really handsome delivery men, but like I don't think I'm their type, so it's not going to work. But yeah, let me talk about it. I think also switching up my type is something I'm trying to do because this whole conversation, yeah, and this whole thing about people having types and it being so restrictive and so limited is so stupid. It's so dumb. Like, I appreciate we all. Oops. I appreciate we all have a type. There naturally, inevitably, there's always going to be something that we are more drawn to. That is just the way that we work as humans. We can't fight that. However, I just feel like when people are so fixated and so persistent on like certain traits that you have to have on a man or on a woman or a non-identifying person, I don't think I don't know. I just think we're really strict, and it completely cuts off the whole idea of like a whole different set of people. Like, I've got certain friends that like they have to be X amount tall, they have to be a certain build, they have to have this and that. And I'm thinking, like, come on, like there aren't that many Ken dolls around, and the ones that are either taken or really fucking boring. Do you know what I mean? It's such a I don't know, it's such a damaging. I think it's really damaging. Like I say to all my friends, I'm like, look, I really think it's important to not like to move like that. Obviously, I get there's. I think there are certain things that like you have to just bite. Is it bite on the chin? I don't know what chin it is, but I think there are some things you just have to deal with. But not for the, but like for the majority, I'm like, come on, it really isn't that deep. Like I have friends, like I said before, I have friends who need to be with someone tall, need to be with someone who. What's another example that I don't agree with? Need to be a certain race, but I'm not having that conversation today. Do you know what I mean? But like, there are certain things I do get. Like, I have like some things that people think, oh, that's weird. But I'm kind of like, what's the word? Contradicting myself. But I do understand that your standards obviously are set for a reason. But like when it comes to things like height and like, I don't know why height keeps on coming to my mind. There's literally nothing else I can think of. Can you think of anything else? Height. I've got height. Um, I don't want to go with teeth. I don't want to go with teeth because I think teeth is quite fair. Like that's quite like looking at someone's small height isn't unpleasant. Looking at bad teeth is unpleasant. So I don't think that's the same thing. I don't think we can. I don't think that's fair. Personally, I really wish we had a mic so you could speak. This is really fucking annoying because I wish you could pick it up. Driving's hit and miss. I think if you live outside of London, if you live in village towns, in towns and villages and all them, man, yeah, the license is essential. I ain't hopping on a bus for nobody anymore. We've grown, we've matured, we've topped up a bit. I can't think of anything. Height is the one thing that keeps coming to mind. Okay, we'll keep it moving. I can't think. Maybe we'll come back to it. Tell you what, though, let me be honest. One of the biggest red flags that I have when dating a guy is I will not date a guy that does not have gay friends. I will not date a guy that does not have gay friends. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, and it's almost like, if I'm being completely honest, honestly, when I meet a guy who's gay who does not have a single gay friend, it's honestly giving a bit of DL energy, right? Because you're moving the same way where like you don't really want to interact with the gays unless it's sexual, unless it's intimate. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think some people are unable to detach. I think some people are unable to detach the idea of having a friendship with someone of the same sex they're attracted to. Yeah, the same. Yeah, I think a lot of people are unable to detach the idea of a platonic relationship with someone of the gender you're attracted to. Like I know loads of men, I know loads of straight men that have said to me they can't be friends with straight women because but we're eventually going to sleep together. But why? Why are you eventually going to sleep together? It just doesn't make sense to me. And it's the same. It's the same for gay men and gay women to not have people like yourself. I think it's such a nice, beautiful, shared common experience. Obviously, I get that you may naturally have more relatability with someone who isn't like that, but for a whole space, honestly, the funnest times away and the funnest nights I have had have been with my gay friends. They are so much fun. They are so joyful, and it's so nice to have someone on your level who's on your level but not in your level, you know. And I'm just it's gotten to a point where like I won't take excuses for it. Like I don't think there's any fair excuse because people are saying to me, oh, I can't have gay friends, but you found a man. And it is obvious, and I personally think it is a lot harder to find a man than it is to find gay friends. And for the most part, yeah, these people that have found a man, they've managed to what? Hop on one train, get on two buses, get on a tube to go meet a man, but you're not willing to go that far to meet friends. The priority level is very showing and very different. And I do understand that you may naturally just have more in common with someone who isn't like you. But if you're able to find someone to have fun with, why would you not find someone to be your friend as well? Like there honestly is no, there's no justification for it. Like, there's no leeway. I genuinely, it will never make sense to me how you, as someone who is queer or someone who is gay, does not have gay friends. You know, it's giving DL energy. It's giving the impression that you're unable to detach yourself from the idea of having sex or being intimate with someone who is into the same preferences as you, you know? Like, it's not about that. And I think it says a lot about you as an individual if you're unable to do so, whether it's a self-esteem issue, whether it's a self-hating issue. I don't know, but I just think it just makes me, I find it kind of comical how like people say, oh, there's not many gay people around, so I can't be friends with them. But you managed to hop on a bus and a train and God knows what else to go find someone who was like user 2460 on your profile, on their profile, but you can't meet a friend to do the same or nearby. I'm not taking it as an excuse. You know, it's just, it will never make sense to me. And it is, if you actually like break it down and look at the similarities, it is very like similar and familiar to like the energy of a DL man. But that's for another day. That's for you lot to deal with. And like also like I have to tell you one thing that I've had to cut out. Like I cannot entertain bad boys anymore. I cannot entertain them. Like, I'm 26 years old. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, my immature phase is over. I'm closer to 30 than I am to being a teenager. You know, you cannot be messing with bad boys in your mid-20s. And the thing is, yeah, I'm not being funny. You will never like be real, right? You will never be able to take a bad boy home. I like so many of my friends that are older than me. They'll be like, "Oh, I love a bad boy." I'm like, "Well, is there longevity with the bad boy? Does the bad boy come with an insurance policy, warranty?" Because if not, you're wasting your time, respectfully. You know, when you, even though like mid and late 20s is still very, very young, like incredibly young, we've had our, well, no, let me not say that. It's incredibly young, but a lot of people, I feel like I'm really contradicting myself today, but a lot of people are more looking towards a long-term thing. And realistically, until those bad boys get their licenses take away, like that's not going to happen. You know, I don't know. I just feel like I'm really for like a goody two shoes, someone who doesn't leave the house, someone that's a bit of a nerd, someone that just wants to spend all their money on me. Like, I don't want to be with someone who's outside every week, every weekend without fail. You're not for me, babe. Respectfully. Obviously, I love the club, innit? Not every week, though. Like, let's not do that. But I'm also growing, but I'm also becoming increasingly concerned that I feel like a lot of people are getting into relationships for the sake of being in relationships, a bit like a panic, if you will. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like people are very... People like the idea of being in a relationship more than they actually like being in a relationship. That's not for me. I'd actually rather be single. Like, I've met so many people, yeah, and know of so many people that are in these relationships with these like deadbeats who constantly disappoint them and struggle to give them any fulfillment or satisfaction, you know? And it will honestly never make sense to me. And I get you have commitments, you have things together, you've built things together. But I just think like the streets are cold, the streets are lonely. Do you know what I mean? They can be a bit dark and depressing, but I know for a fact, as God and Jesus Christ as my witness, I would much rather be with myself than be with a deadbeat. Personally, subjectively, each to their own. But I see these relationships and I think, oh, do you know what? All that hassle, and what for? It's not for me, babe. It's not for me. I'm also like re-evaluating a lot of friendships. Like, one thing I've realized is, yeah, I've actually realized that there's different tiers of friendships. And I think my mistake is I've been placing all of my friends at the same level because there's not, do I prioritize? I wouldn't say I do, to be honest. Not really. I mean, no, sorry, I didn't. I do now. because I said to myself, yeah, I was like, oh my God, like, because I'm quite fortunate. I would say, you know how like people get older and they say like, oh, I don't have a lot of friends. I don't think that's the case for me. I actually do think I am quite lucky and quite fortunate to have quite a few friends, and I would say quite a few good friends as well. But even still, there's different levels. But I think when you come to the realization that friendships have different tiers and different levels, it actually makes you feel a bit more sane. You know, you have like your ride or dies who you will do the most for. You have friends that are like older and like you care for them, but you see them now and again, but they're not your go-to. You've got those friends who are like friends because you're friends with someone else. And again, they're cool. They're cool, but again, like they're not like your main dog. And then you have like the ones that you, and then you have like ones who you don't really fuck with, and they're not really your friends to be honest, but they were your friends, you know. And they're okay. And then you have the ones you don't like. But like for me, I think having a bit of a reality check and realizing that I'm not as prioritized to my friends as I am to a lot of them made me think, oh well, like like what's the point? Do you know what I mean? I had a real harsh reality check recently with a friend who basically quite clearly did not rate me as much as I rated them. And it's a kick in the face. It's a real kick in the face when you really care for someone and they won't do the same for you, you know? So I've been trying really hard to like reassess and be like, okay, like this is how I place my other one friend, this is how I place another. Because I don't know, like some people just do the mad, and I think, because I'll tell them, I'll like say something to like my parents, for example, about what a friend has done, and my parents be like, "Friends don't do that. That's really weird behavior." Like, I'll give an example. Yeah, the worst type of friends. Yeah, the worst type of friends are the ones who treat you like a stranger when they're in a relationship. The worst type of friends are the ones who treat you like a stranger in a relationship. Obviously, I respect and I appreciate when you are dating someone, they are your priority. Like, I'm not arguing that. That's not a case that's going to be battled with me. However, to be a complete ghost, bro, really? And the worst thing is, yeah, these people who are the ones that cut you completely loose when when they're in a relationship are the ones that run back twice as fast like a headless chicken when the relationship's over. I remember I had this friend, yeah, who literally nowhere to be seen when he got a missus, yeah. And I was like, do you know what? It is what it is. Cool, cool. You do what you need to do. Who am I to like mess in between short-term love? And And I remember when they broke up, and this guy literally would not stop texting me. He would not stop texting me. He would not stop calling me. And I literally said to him, I was like, bro, like respectfully, like we haven't spoken for X amount of months. Like we're not friends. We're not friends. And I think people are really afraid to tell people they're not friends. Like I remember, like do you know what? Let me tell you a story. I had an old friend who used to work with, right? I rated him. I personally thought we never had any problems. Obviously, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has been telling me, oh, he said this about you, he's done this about you, and he's said and done that. And I was like, oh, okay, really? That's mad. So I called him out on it, and he was like, oh, we didn't get on at this point. I was like, that's news to me. I've never known us not to get on. Like, we must be on different levels, mate, because that was never in my knowledge that we weren't pals, you know. I was probably pressed by that. And I remember his response was, oh, let's go for breakfast and talk. I was like, what part aren't you getting? You can't moan about someone behind their back to multiple people, to multiple counterparts, and then expect us to be cool. I think a lot of people are really afraid of confrontation. I think a lot of people are scared to address things. But I'm sorry, if you've been bad mouthing me, I will ask you what's up. And vice versa. If I was to be bad mouthing someone, I would expect them to call me out on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I can't deal with snaky shit. And I'm just like, I think before I would just get really angry and really defensive and be like, how can you do this to me? Who do you think you are? But now I'm just like, do you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Do as you please. See if I care. Like, you know, I struggle to give an anger unless you've like, because a lot of the time, I don't think people do this on purpose. I think people just don't think, which is kind of worse. But if you've actively tried to upset me or punish me or hurt me, then then I'm annoyed, you know? But for the most part, that's not the case. People are just tactless. People are just tactless. Turning 26 and getting a year older has made me realize what I want out of my friends, you know? Here's one thing, yeah. Honestly, if someone takes more than 2 days to respond, don't bother. Like, literally, do not bother. The conversation is over. The conversation is done. The thing is, yeah, like, when it's past that 2-3 day point, I don't want to have that conversation anymore. I remember I had a friend, yeah. I messaged him. I hadn't spoken to him in time, and I was like, "Oh, like, what? Hey, mate, what you saying? Like, do you want to catch up or something?" 5 weeks later, my man says to me, "I'm embarrassed to see this right." No, he says to me, "I'm embarrassed to only have seen this just now," or something like that. I thought, you know what? Respectfully, I'm not going to respond to you, and we haven't spoken since. You actually like don't respect me if you've taken that long to respond. You actually don't respect me. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't respect you. Like, 5 weeks. Thing is, yeah, I'm sorry, naturally, everyone goes on their phone like at least a couple of hours a day. And you're telling me in 5 weeks, you couldn't find 10 minutes to give me a call. You don't respect me, bro. And I don't respect you. Respectfully. But to conclude, moving forward, I just want to be around good people and good energy, you know? Like I when I had to like have a real reality check and thought, there are people in my circle who I see and I just feel exhausted when I'm with them. You know, I don't need that. Like, life is very stressful as it is. I want to be with people and I want to laugh and to have joy and to have fun. And if I don't have that most of the time with you, you've got to go. You've got to go, bro. You've got to go. Let's talk about what's been trending this week. So so obviously Beyonce has just announced her Cowboy Carter world. Well, is it a world tour? Beyonce has announced her Cowboy Carter tour. So I think we were not reluctant. I think we were a bit like cautious if we were actually going to get seen, because she never specified world tour, but Beyonce loves London, so I think we were all like in the back of our heads like, nah, we're safe, we're secure. So yeah, Beyonce's coming to London. I think in June. I want to say about 6 dates. It's quite a lot, but I want to talk about, yeah, six dates. But guys, honestly, yeah, I just need to talk about it. We need to talk about these ticket prices. What business does Beyonce have charging £800 for a ticket? Honestly, my jaw dropped. So like, I like Cowboy Carter. Nowhere near as much as Renaissance. Nowhere near as much as Lemonade. And I thought, you know what? If the concert tickets are priced a bit silly, we're going to give it a miss. Obviously, naturally, when an artist wins a Grammy or a Brit, if you will, for UK context, naturally, their concert tickets tend to skyrocket. Now, this may be controversial. I personally do not think, until now, Beyonce's tickets were stupidly expensive for like an average ticket. So I've seen Beyonce 3 times. I saw her after she released Lemonade. I saw her in between when her and Jay-Z were doing that joint thing. And I saw her for the Renaissance tour. And I had to double check this before I said it, because I didn't want to get the information wrong. So I saw Beyonce, last time I saw her was summer of 2023 for just basic GA standing. So that was £110, which I actually think is pretty fair. If anything, I'm surprised it was like as little. Right. So bear in mind, it's only been 2 years. I'm thinking she can't cost that much more. Like, she can't cost that much more, surely. So I've got that mindset in my head, yeah, thinking it can't cost that much. It cannot. I'm thinking 150. But then at the back of my head, I'm thinking, why are you paying that much for an album you didn't really like? However, I digress. So I am obviously like, because Ticketmaster love to do this thing where they don't tell you like how much it is. They'll give you like a range, and I think the range was like £71 to like 900 and something. So yeah, and then I remember when it came to pre-sale, and I thought, let me just like log into the pre-sale just to see if I can even get hold of something for a reasonable price. Yeah, and like I remember seeing the general admission. So like the because obviously concerts love to do this thing now where like they have the stage. I might even get a picture if I can do it. Okay, let's get a video. Let's get a screen record, please, of like the stage, please. Thank you. Okay, so we have this. So you have the stage, you have like the general admission at the back, and then like in between you'll have like whatever the artist is called with their like deluxe circle or whatever you want to call it. So in my head, I thought, okay, well that'll be pricey, but Geo will be all right. Guys, I'm kid you not. The normal general admission was £245. £245 for one person. For one person. And listen, I love Beyonce. I actually like this is, and I think I actually have quite a fair opinion at it because I'm someone who obviously like really, really likes her. I love her music. I love what she does for the culture. I think she's great. However, I just thought, Beyonce, what's going on? What's going on, man? Talk me through it because I'm lost. I generally don't get it. And then honestly, when I saw there was a ticket for £800, I could have lost it. £800 for one person. £800 for one person who you're not going to meet. Okay, you may get like a personalised T-shirt and a goodie bag, but 800. Do you know how much stuff you could do with £800? I can't even. Do you know? I even tried listing it. I even tried listing things that I could do with £800. I couldn't even make £800 because it's so much money. That's half a wage after tax. It's half a wage after tax. Are you dumb? I remember seeing it and I thought, obviously, like. And I think also at the same time, it's really important to remember before anything, Beyonce is a capitalist. You know? She is. I will never discredit her talent, her accomplishments, and her legacy. But she's a capitalist before anything else. Because there's the right, and let's remind ourselves of this. Obviously, Ticketmaster does this thing called dynamic pricing, yeah, where like based on demand, the ticket price will rise. That will only happen if the artist agrees. If the artist says no, no chance, not happening, it will stay the initial original price. I know this because Taylor Swift refused to do it because her concert's already very expensive. So you Beehive, yeah, you like die core Beehive members to the core from day dot until now, till present. You just remember that you're like queen, yeah? Your most favourite artist actually opt in to charge more. 800, I'm sorry, I just can't over £800 for one person. For one person. Listen, Beyonce, I love you, but you won't be seeing me respectfully. I've seen Beyonce 3 times, right? I've seen her live 3 times. And even those 3 times together didn't come to £800. I think it came to probably, I want to say 400, probably not even that. And I've been very close. Like I've been like our hands have basically touched. But listen, Beyonce, cost of living crisis. I love you a lot, but you won't be seeing me. However, though, I do feel like this is like the near end. Like I really want Beyonce to retire after her next album. And I'll tell you what, I really want Beyonce to retire after her next album because she refuses to not be at the top. She refuses not to be a hit maker, to shift genre, and to continue to do such amazing stuff. I don't think that's everlasting for any artist, personally. I don't think anyone is capable of doing that. Therefore, with that being said, I think once she reaches the end of this 3-part project, after she's completed that and done a somewhat final tour, farewell tour, I think it's time to wrap up. She has done so much. She has accomplished so much. She is the greatest singer. She is the singer. Let's be careful. She is the greatest performer alive, without a doubt. Oops. She is the greatest performer alive, without a doubt. And I just think to finish this third part and to be done would be a beautiful way to end an amazing career. You know, you've got babies, you've got other avenues. Focus on that. Even go into acting. Hey, I'm partial to Beyonce doing acting. Have you seen Dreamgirls? It's a very good film. I just don't want her. I don't want to give names, but I just don't want her to go down the similar route of similar artists where they were thriving for such a long time, and then they reached a point where it was no longer the same. I don't want that for her. You know. I think after the next album after Cowboy Carter, I think it's time to call it a day. Ticketmaster is actually the GOAT for scamming. I don't think many people know this, but I think if they do, Ticketmaster would be out of business. There are so many other alternative concert sites you can use which are just as reliable and probably easier, because Ticketmaster has this very common thing. When a big artist announces a show, their website crashes. It just seems to happen. I mean, I'm not in a position where I can do any better than Ticketmaster, so who am I to judge? However, I don't think people are aware there are so many other sites which are just as good. And Ticketmaster does this really cheeky thing, right, where it pretends that like certain tickets are sold out, but then if you go onto other websites, that's not the case. Honestly, right, and this obviously isn't a promo or anything. I'm just saying this because I know how annoying it is. Like there's so many. I'm gonna do something. I don't know what I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna add something, but there are so many other alternatives. There's C Tickets. C Tickets is really good. So there's a Z artist that I want to go see. Right, I want to be standing in like the premium bit. There was nothing left on Ticketmaster. I looked on C Tickets and there was still some. C Tickets. AXS is also very good. Live Nation is hit and miss because a lot of the time it redirects to Ticketmaster, but that's still worth a shot. And Ticket Factory, the only thing with Ticket Factory is primarily focused on shows in Birmingham. However, say worst case scenario, your artist, you want to see her sold out their London show, and it's like the second best bet. Ticket Factory is very, very good. So keep that in mind, guys. And if you use it, please thank me with gifts or with PayPal. My email's in the bio in the description below. We're going to end this by talking about obviously Kendrick Lamar's highly anticipated Super Bowl performance. There's honestly two things. Yeah, I'm annoyed I couldn't talk about this sooner because so much has already come out about it. But hey, we've all got a different take, haven't we? And what was the other thing? There's just so much to uncook and to like dismantle. Is that the right word? Is dismantle the right? I don't know if that's the right word, you know. Oh yeah, it is. That I don't think I can even cover it all if possible, but I'm going to try my very best. And obviously, like, I understand that I'm British and not American, and that my Black British experience is not the same as the American experience. Just before people say it'll do anything, because I know that, yeah, just for that reason. Okay, so I want to start by saying first, I think we need to take our hats off to Kendrick. Kendrick is the first rapper to headline, which is pretty insane. So I believe that Jay-Z is the guy that like organizes the Super Bowl, which is interesting because Jay-Z is obviously like a legend in rap. And I think he's obviously done it with Beyonce, but he's never had like a headline show. So that's really interesting. But I do think Kendrick is very ahead of his time, and I think he is very deserving to be the first rapper to headline. So hats off to Mr. Kendrick. But no, I enjoyed it. There's so many mixed reviews on it, and I don't really understand why. I really enjoyed it. I think, but there's so much to dissect and to like understand. I've watched it probably about 4 or 5 times, and I always pick up on something new. I got the thing that I got initially was the idea that as a Black person in America, you have to play the game. You have to strive or supposedly strive to white validation. And I liked the layout of the set because you can see from the beginning how it's like a game control. And then obviously Sam L. Jackson, can we just say the richest actor of all time, not even black, just actor altogether of every race, for him to be Uncle Sam. And obviously Uncle Sam is a personification and a somewhat distorted representation of the people in America, you know? And I think I think Kendrick will always do stuff for the people. And I like that he had a black man, a powerful black man to play Uncle Sam. And I like that Kendrick's like very cheeky. Like he's very like boisterous. And I enjoy how he'll like say something and then he'll be like, ooh, and he like grins. I think he's fun. I think he's able to like be fun whilst doing something serious. Because there was a part where he was like, oh, like the revolution about to be televised, the right time but the wrong guy. Ooh, what does that mean? And then obviously, if we break it down, we have all the dancers, who like make up the flag, all black people, black dancers trying to navigate life in a country, in a nation which doesn't always have our best interests, you know. And I thought that was very clever, and I thought the choreography was incredible. I thought the dancing was really, really good. I was a bit confused initially about the song choice. Initially with the song choice, I was a bit like, oh, that's interesting. But then like as I dissected more and as I watched it more, it actually aligned perfectly well. Because obviously I understand that like when you think of Kendrick Lamar, I think his biggest songs are like bitch don't kill my vibe, bitch don't kill my vibe, bitch don't kill my vibe, or like Money Trees, Halle Berry or Hallelujah. Hey, pick your poison, tell me what you're doing. But they didn't fit into the narrative he was trying to create. Let me get an example real quick. So obviously, I think it was after Squabble Up when he performs on with Squabble Up. It's quite energetic. It's very how would I describe Squabble Up? It's very much about focusing messages on challenging oppression and that, and like basically black unity, you know. And this was really cool because I didn't get this till about the third time. So Samuel Jackson responds, he's like, no, too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up. And obviously, like, the game is surviving. The game is survival. The game the game is white supremacy, you know. And I just thought when I got this on like the third go, I was like, my mind is blown. I was like, what the hell? This is so clever. And then obviously after that, he dives into the songs with SZA. Obviously, Kendrick and SZA are very popular together as collaborators. Their songs have had a lot of success critically and commercially, and they're probably more appealing to a white audience, to be honest. And then the response, I think after All the Stars End, Uncle Sam is very much like, yes, that's what America wants. Songs that are calm, some songs which are somewhat passive, because Kendrick and SZA's songs together are very focused and centered around love, you know, and that's very, I mean, let's be honest, the white population can relate to that, you know. It's relatable, I think he says that's what America wants or something like that. I think that's what America wants. But can we just say that, right? People are so like, I love SZA so much. And I've seen SZA live and she's incredible. But like, who are you fooling with that? And I find because miming isn't really, maybe for the people I like, miming isn't really like that common, I don't think, for the most part. So obviously when she's miming and then she moves her mic whilst the voiceover's still playing, and then she has these really dramatic gestures like moving her mouth, like, babe, we know you're not singing, honestly, you may as well just stand there. The only person who I really know not that I know, the only singer who I can really think of who I know that like tends to mime, apart from SZA apparently, is Britney Spears. But yeah, that's my sister, so big up her. And then throughout the whole performance, Kendrick is continuing to obviously tease Not Like Us, you know, which is obviously a direct diss track about the Drake beef beef between him and Drake. And Kendrick just doesn't care. Kendrick just doesn't care. Like, and he's teasing. I think he teases about 2 or 3 times about this song. Then he finally plays it. But no, like, so he just. Do you know what? I aspire to be like on the level of pay that Kendrick's on. You know, imagine like it's bad enough having a #1 song that wins X amount of Grammys, but then to be on the Super Bowl. And like just all the subtle details that just added to it to just make it so the way it was. We have obviously the A minor on his necklace. Serena Williams, who had allegedly dated Drake for a long time, dancing on in the performance. Coincidence? I don't think so. Kendrick literally looks into the camera and goes, "Say Drake." You know, it's just, I don't know. It's real artistry. It's real artistry. And it's like Kendrick says, like, you can't fake influence. And I think people, even though obviously like there was some disses towards Drake, I think a lot of people are missing the bigger picture. Like this is bigger than music. This is about a political standpoint. This is about challenging white supremacy and systemic racism in the States, you know? And for people to, I don't know, it kind of feels like a bit of a kick in the face for people to not rate it. Like if you actually really watch it and you take bit by bit in, you think this is like this man is a true, like he is truly making a legacy. There aren't many rappers and artists as a whole that dedicate their craft and their time and their their craft and their time to the culture. Kendrick's entire career has been about like speaking upon anti-blackness and social reform and injustice and preserving black culture. You know, it's not the performance. The performance isn't centered or focused on a diss. It may be added to make a bit of flavor, but the main intention is to challenge white supremacy. The main intention is to provide liberation and empowerment for the black community. You know, it's about challenging but also addressing the current political position that black people in the States experience. And I don't know, like when people said it was boring and it was rubbish, it just kind of really it kind of like tickled me a little bit, because I think it really also showed certain people who quite clearly side with Drake, because I think it's really important. And obviously I really like Drake's music. Well, I used to, not so much anymore. But I think it's really important to know Drake is not for the culture. He is not for the culture. He is for somewhat good vibes and cheesy tunes. You know, Kendrick is for the culture. Kendrick's catalogue and everything he's done for the last 15 years in his career has been dedicated to try and provide space and voices for marginalized people, particularly black people in the States, you know? And I find that, like, at this point, I don't even think they're comparable. I actually don't think they're comparable. Drake doesn't address the same things that Kendrick does. Drake is so focused on repeatedly talking about the same things he was 15 years into his career. For me, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't think we can put them on the same ladder. Kendrick, I would say, is the GOAT of rap, to be honest. Drake's like one of those like little like lamb sheep that was like really cute and like had stuff going for them and it just kind of frazzled. That's what Drake is. I don't think, do you know what? And it's such a shame because Drake is really talented. I honestly think if Drake made less music, he'd be more respectable. I think the last album that Drake made that was really, really good was Certified Lover Boy. Controversial. People don't seem to like. I think that's the last decent body of work he made. I really think he would benefit from taking a 5-6 year hiatus and then coming and making a massive comeback. There's no anticipation for his music because he releases so frequently. And like, I just feel like there just doesn't seem to be much progression. Like, how are you hitting 40 and you're still talking about the same things when you were 24? It just doesn't make sense. I was listening to one of these new tracks he did with Party Next Door, and he's just bragging about how he's got like 8 women on the line. I was like, you're hitting 40. Please make it make sense. And it's if anything, it's actually quite infuriating because he's so capable and so talented that it just feels like a waste of talent, to be honest. But I do also feel like there is a certain point where black entertainers, there is a certain point where black entertainers are so like set up and focused on white validation that their craft neglects, And if Drake is a really good example, so is Kanye West, artists who are very capable and very talented, and from the beginning to the midpoint of their career had a really tremendous amount of craft, But then you have to remember, obviously, the people at the top who are signing these checks, who are writing these invoices, who are getting people booked are probably white men, to be perfectly honest. And it just makes you realize, and it makes you kind of aware how like these entertainers who are so influential and are so capable of creating so much change, like Kendrick, like J. Cole, like Joey Badass, like Beyonce, but they choose to take a different direction. And it's just so frustrating because I think you're one of the most powerful black men in the world, which is a real asset, which is a real credit to your ability, but you're not being pointed in the right direction. It's just frustrating to see as a half black man. It's just really annoying, to be perfectly honest. But no, I think the Kendrick performance was really, really good. And I think Kendrick is a very good performer. I don't know why people are getting so weird about it. Like I think he's great. And also, is it just me? Why is it ever since Kendrick has started beefing, he's become more attractive? Is it just me? I was watching the Super Bowl performance and I was like, oh, Kendrick Lamar, you're actually looking all right, Granted, he's a bit too short. Like, he's 5'6". I think Drake wins on that one. I'll give Drake the height, but everything else, I'm team Kendrick Lamar. So yeah, guys, I think we're done. This was fun. Thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed this one. I feel like I've just rambled, but I hope it was somewhat enjoyable, interesting of some sort. But yeah, my name is Jord Helwood, and this is the Winning Side podcast. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and give me a 5-star rating on Spotify. I will see you very soon, and I hope you have a great afternoon, evening, or anything else in between.